If you cough and you have also hemorrhaging in the lungs from the bacteria, you can get what's called a bloody sputum, where your spit has blood, flecks of blood in it. And if you're coughing, those respiratory droplets can be quite infectious, and then you can infect another person.
The environmental conditions and disease symptoms vividly described by contemporaries indicate the Black Death was a bubonic plague pandemic. But some scientists continue to dispute this. They point to one puzzling feature of the disease, the shocking speed with which it spread.
Basically spread across Europe, Western Europe, within 4 or 5 years. It's incredibly rapid spread, considering that they didn't have trains, planes, automobiles, that the transportation was by foot or by horseback. I mean, it's a very, very rapid spread of the disease.
Many doubt bubonic plague could travel so fast.
The speed at which the disease spread around communities isn't consistent with what we know about bubonic plague. So this has led some historians to suggest that perhaps there was another causal mechanism involved, there was another epidemic disease involved. Perhaps one suggestion has been the spread of anthrax. Other authors have suggested it might have been an Ebola-like virus. There are clear differences here in relation to the way in which disease is spread.
Recent research has gone further towards identifying bubonic plague as the culprit. Europe's busy coastal waterways meant infected fleas and rats could move quickly around the continent, establishing new bases for the disease. And now, cutting-edge science is lending its weight to the argument. In Montpellier, a 650-year-old mass grave is giving modern technology the chance to finally resolve the argument. A team of French archaeologists is exhuming the bodies of plague victims.
Black Death studies are still young. It used to be thought Black Death couldn't get anything out of a skeleton. It was a tissue disease. All we have are the bones. Couldn't get anything from it. Now with DNA, with some of the other things that we can get out of bones, there's some possibilities. It's still very, very controversial, but there's some possibilities that we might learn more and more.
The researchers are mining for biological treasure, the teeth of plague victims. Like a locked box, a tooth seals in the DNA of organisms traveling in the bloodstream at the time of death, including perhaps the very agent of death.
On a quelque chose, je crois que c'est important, les dents sont entières.
The teeth skulls. Then they examined the tooth pulp for evidence of the presence of the plague bacteria, Yersinia pestis. And according to their results, these sequences were obviously Yersinia pestis DNA, but they were somewhat unique. And it provided the only really objective evidence that we have that the Black Death might indeed have been caused by Yersinia pestis.
The French results bring the mystery of the plague one step closer to its solution. But before these results can be considered conclusive, more work needs to be done and more graves need to be investigated. To Guy de Chauliac, the eminent 14th edition, the concepts of deadly fleas and bacterial DNA would sound as alien as ill-crossed stars and God's wrath sound to us today. By the autumn of 1347, the Black Death has conquered Sicily, causing death and despair. It is a disaster without precedents, as if God himself has forsaken the... In Venice, Agimet, the Jewish servant of a Swiss lord, finds all that his master desires: saffron and cinnamon, castor and camphor, silks and